Welcome into Top of the Perch. It's the first losing Top of the Perch of the season as I don't even know where to start here. Everything just disaster. It was a disaster fest today at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Chelsea walk away with a 4-1 victory. Oh my, what a game. Anything that could have went wrong in this game. I mean, what a disaster. Chelsea dragged Tottenham into the mud, and Tottenham willingly went in, and Chelsea know how to play in the mud, and Tottenham didn't really, and it all fell apart from there. This was 2 hours of just straight down back to reality. Let's just start. The first 15 minutes, honestly, Tottenham controlled this game. First 15. Chelsea looked like they didn't know what they were doing. It was just Tottenham putting on pressure. Ends up with Dejan Kulusevski getting a goal just in the 6th minute of the game. It was just a beautiful goal. Beautiful build-up. Tottenham go up 1-0. What an assist. It was from Pop Sarr. For what this game turned out to be, had an amazing performance. But, everything from there just went downhill. Like I said, first 15 minutes, though, mostly was Tottenham here. So, keep going. Another build-up play, 11th minute, I believe it was. It was a pass from Maddison straight to Son. Son gets it into the back of the net, and we now have a 2-0 game. Flag was up, though, so it was offsides, no goal. But wait, what is this? Oh, are we checking to see if Son was onside? Is he maybe? Who knows? Yeah, no. He was offside by a hair. It still ends up being a 1-0 game. So this is basically when it turns because, everything from here just went downhill immediately. Once that VAR review happened, Chelsea they somehow got on the counterattack. They started pressuring Vicario. Vicario made some outstanding saves. And then it was 21st minute, just a lot of passes, and it ends up with Raheem Sterling in the box, just basically inches away from Vicario. Puts it in the back of the net. It's 1-1. Chelsea retake the... Oh, no. Here we go again. Here we go. They're checking the goal. Oh, it looks like Raheem Sterling's hand did hit the ball. So the decision is no goal. Tottenham keep it a 1-0 game. Just felt like the tide was turning. Tottenham may have regained an advantage here, but, who knew? It seemed like that was going to happen, but it was disastrous. During that VAR check, though, Christian Romero was being, that was after the goal check. He was being checked for a potential penalty, which, I don't know. It was what it was. 27th minute, Chelsea on the attack again. Here we go. It is Moises Caicedo, just a beautiful shot from outside the box, puts it in the net, and it is 1-1 again for... Oh, here we go again. VAR checking. Is this a potential offsides here? They are checking the goal. Once again, it is no goal. We are back to 1-0. But we're back to 1-0. Wait a minute. We're checking again. is there a potential penalty on Christian Romero on a challenge on Fernandez in the penalty area? It seemed like he got the ball first, and then his, studs ended up in the shin of Enzo Fernandez. And what are we getting? Oh, that's a check complete. It is going to be a red card for Romero in the 33rd minute. And if it couldn't go any more downhill from here, it just keeps going downhill. Penalty is awarded. Cole Palmer steps up, takes the shot, goes in the back of the net. It's officially 1-1. Yes, it's officially 1-1. No VAR check. So then we get to the 44th or 45th minute. Mickey Van de Ven going on the defensive attack, trying to stop a Chelsea attack, I should say. Put his hamstring just done. He ends up getting subbed off right there in the 45th minute. This was just awful. So not only is Christian Romero out for the next game because of the red card, now Mickey Van de Ven potentially out for a decent amount of time, a hamstring injury, not easy to recover from. So that happens. Madison gets injured in the process here too. He gets subbed off in the 45th minute, and we get 12 minutes of extra time, and the meltdown just continues. This team, I'm not putting it all on refereeing decisions because that's not the way to go. The referee could have controlled this game much better than he did. I'm also putting some blame on Son here. You're the captain of this team. You got to get control before everything falls out of control like it did today. This team just fell apart. Also, I think in between all this, Postecoglou ended up getting a yellow card too for being out of the technical area, which, whatever. But Spurs were in complete meltdown mode. Even though it was still 1-1, they're down to 10 men. It just got even worse from there. We come back from break. It was, I think it was the 10th minute back from break. So the 55th minute, a Destiny Udogie tackle ends up getting his second yellow of the game because he got a first yellow early on in the game, which he shouldn't have made the tackle in the first place. So that was a needless yellow. Then he gets the second yellow, which was another needless mistake. And now Tottenham are down to 9 men for the next 35 minutes. It was disgusting. It was so disgusting. I don't know. It really did fall apart here. Are we doing this again? What are we doing? No, that was just a simple check complete to make sure, there were no random fouls on this play. You can see the tone of the game. The amount of VAR calls in this game was, I swear, after every single kick of this game, it was VAR checking for something. These two, I don't think these two have played a normal game of football against each other. I don't think they have. I couldn't tell you the last time a normal game between these two happened. It is just unbelievable. We get to the 75th minute. I think that was when Jackson scored the goal to put Chelsea up 2-1. Tottenham, even though they were down to 9 men, they were playing a very high line, which is obviously a Postecoglou trademark, but you'd expect down to 9 men, you'd be playing back a lot. No, he kept pressing. Pedro Porro, not an outstanding game defensively, but his free kicks late on in the game, trying to get opportunities for Tottenham, sensational. 79th minute, gets it straight to the head of Eric Dyer, who honestly had a decent performance today. Still don't want him in the squad, but he had a decent performance today. He gets it in the back of the net, but offsides, of course. Are we going to check it? Of course we are. And easy, no goal. No real surprise there. He was offsides. Tottenham kept pressing, though. They couldn't really get that final inch going. I know Bentancur had an opportunity. I think that was the 86th or 87th minute. It was a similar to Dyer play, but it ended up at his feet, and it just bounced the wrong way. He had an open net right in front of him to make it 2-2. Bounces the wrong way off the foot, goes out of play, remains 2-1. We get into the stoppage time. It was 9 minutes. Jackson scores in the 94th minute. That makes it 3-1. That mostly game over. And in the 7th minute of extra time, he scores his third. He gets his hat trick. The most Mickey Mouse hat trick I've seen in footballing history. Makes it 4-1. And that was your final score. It all fell apart today. That's the best way to put it. Saturday's going to be awful. You got 2 players out because of red card suspension. You have 2 potential injuries. I don't know. Just this was a disaster class performance. Disaster. I think that's the best word for this game, disaster. You can say Chelsea dragged us in the mud. They dragged us into hell. All those fun names, it's all true. And honestly, it's all for Tottenham to blame. They could have controlled this game. They got dumb with it. They became ill-advised. They just became high-tempered. And that's exactly what Chelsea wanted them to do. And this is your result here. And honestly, we'll just go through the stats. The stats kind of prove what I said. Tottenham controlled the first 15 minutes, but anything past that was Chelsea domination. Tottenham ended up with only 39% possession. They only had 5 or 8 shots the whole game, only 5 on target, compared to Chelsea having 17 shots in the whole game and having 8 on target. In and out of the box, you can tell. Expected goals, I mean, this number wowed me when I saw it because I knew Chelsea had a lot of shots. I didn't think that they had 4.04 expected goals in this game. They do. Tottenham only handed 0.94. Passes, which is something I've talked about all year with Tottenham. They only end up with 313 today, which just shows how out of control this game got. Compared to Chelsea's 499. Fouls in this game, I would have expected this to be flip-flop, but it is not. Tottenham had 12 compared to Chelsea's 21. Tottenham only had 1 yellow card. They had 2 reds, though. That's really all that mattered. Chelsea had 5 yellows. Tottenham only had 1 corner in the game compared to Chelsea's 6. I think you know what's coming. It is your player ratings, and I think you kind of expect what you're about to see here is going to be kind of a orange parade of numbers, and that's basically what you got. Heung-min's son gets a 5.8, mostly because, well, he played the full 90, which I'm fine with. As a captain, you need to get control of your team when it's starting to fall apart. He did not do that. This team just kept falling, and just I wish there was better captaincy there today, but I mean, there's not much to say about that there. Brendan Johnson gets his first home start in the Spurs shirt, gets subbed off in the 33rd minute after Romero's red card. Somebody had come off, so Postecoglou could bring on a defender, which I completely understand. It just sucks that it was Johnson that had to come off because I think he's going to be a really good player. He just needs time, and subbing him off 30 minutes into the game because somebody else got a red card kind of sucks. James Madison, with not an outstanding performance today, ends up with the injury at the end of the half. We'll see what happens with that. I didn't think his was as bad as Van de Ven, but it could potentially be bad, especially with an early kick on Sunday. That worries me. Kulusevski gets a 7.7. I thought he had a pretty decent performance today, especially given that he had a goal, the only goal for Tottenham in this game. It is what it is. Bissouma ends up with 6.5. It really looked like he was out there hunting for his yellow card that would get him a 3-game suspension. I don't get it, but he had an okay performance, ends up with 6.5. Sarr, he ends up with a 7.5. He had the assist on the Kulusevski goal, but he still had a decent performance out there today. He was one of a few bright spots, and you can't really complain about that. Udogie gets a 5.2. He had the 2 yellows, which led to a red. Just a disappointing performance from him today. So he is obviously out on Saturday when Tottenham travel to Molineux to face off against Wolves. Van de Ven gets a 6.3, subbed off right before stoppage time of the first half because of that hamstring injury. I'm assuming he's out for a decent amount of time, which is awful because Tottenham have no depth at that position, which is something we've been asking for years now, is for some depth, and we can't get it. Christian Romero gets the lowest score I think I've given so far, 4.7. He got the straight red after a VAR check. Probably should have had a red earlier in the game. Got away with it. He was out there hunting for a red card today, and he got what he wanted. Porro gets a 6.9. That was mostly boosted because he didn't have a great game by those free kicks that he had late in the game, because he was putting them right where we needed them to have a chance to equalize, and it just didn't turn out well. Vicario earns man of the match even though he conceded 4 goals. It could have been much worse without him there. He made some outstanding saves, and 2 of the goals were in Mickey Mouse time. And there was just nothing that he could do there. But for most of the game, he held serve, and he deserves this man of the match performance. Eric Dyer got subbed on in the 33rd minute to somewhat replace a Christian Romero that got red carded. He earns a 6.4. He was one of the reasons some of those goals went in, which isn't surprising at all, but I still thought he put in a halfway decent shift, which is why his score isn't lower. Højbjerg came on with those injuries to Madison and Van de Ven. He came on at that time. He had a good performance in the second half. He earned a 7.1. Emerson earned a 7.5. I thought he was the better of the 2 center backs that were subbed on today, even though Royale isn't really a center back. I'd rather see him than Dyer out there, but that's not saying much. Oliver Skip earns a 5.2. Dude looked lost out there today, be honest, and I'm really worried about him. He just doesn't look the part. Bentancur, his second appearance back since his Achilles injury, he earns a 6.6. He had a better shift than I expected. He ended up with almost a full 40 minutes, I think, of play, which is good. I think that's ramping him up to start soon. Maybe you throw him in with Madison being out. I don't know. But yeah, Postecoglou earns a 7 here. He earned a yellow card. Whatever. He made the right sub decisions. I think it's just, this was an all-out bad day for Tottenham, and I think that's just the best way to put it. what an ugly day, start to finish. Yeah. When you face a team like Chelsea that haven't been that good and you've been flying high, as a Tottenham fan, you kind of just expect the loss. I didn't expect it like this. Obviously, all of this on top of that is Pochettino, the snake, returning to a building he opened that building. He earns the last laugh. He gets the 4-1 victory here. And Tottenham now sits second in the table. Obviously, it's only match week 11. Doesn't really matter right now. But just all in out, a awful day of football for Tottenham. So given that is going to be it for Top of the Perch today. Thank you so much for watching. If you just stumbled across this video, hit like, hit subscribe, tell anybody you know about it. We'll be back after Saturday's match. It's the early kickoff at Molineux, which means Tottenham are probably going to lose, but no matter what, we will be back to cover it on another episode, and hopefully it's an exciting episode compared to this downer episode of Top of the Perch.